In what appears to be a setback to account holders at Celsius, a bankruptcy court has ruled that Celsius Earn assets belong to the bankrupt crypto lender. Let's dive a little bit deeper here with CoinDesk Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day, who is also the editor of CoinDesk State of Crypto newsletter. Hello, Nick.
Hey, good morning.
Well, that's some bad news if you had an account there at Celsius. It looks like Mashinsky controls it, and not you, not your keys, not your crypto. Correct? Is that what we're looking at here?
Yeah, so this is a ruling from U.S. bankruptcy judge Martin Glenn yesterday in the Celsius bankruptcy case. The short version is he said that the terms of service for Celsius were, quote, unambiguous in ruling that assets held and deposited on the Celsius Earn platform belong to Celsius, not to the customers. And this is pretty significant because there's a number of crypto lenders that are currently going through bankruptcy, and there's a couple other platforms out there that, they're not bankrupt, and we don't know for sure what exactly the state of their finances are, but they've kind of indicated some warning signals. So the PLDR for crypto customers is that really read the terms of service of the platforms you're using. That's really what it comes down to. To kind of expand on that, what the judge said is that Celsius customers who deposited their funds into the Earn product essentially turned over the ownership of these funds to Celsius because that's what Celsius said was happening. And this is the kind of thing where we're talking about a very specific lender right now, but if you're using an exchange, if you're using another lender, if you're using really any kind of crypto platform where you're giving them your assets, probably a similar situation would happen if they also ended up going into bankruptcy or for whatever reason had to suspend withdrawals.
I mean, this is something I guess is a little bit different than in regular bankruptcy. Like if I loaned some money over to a bank or something, it wouldn't necessarily become assets of the bank, right? This would become they owe it to me. So this is even more shocking, if you will, because this was the exact opposite of what we were promised. That this is, hey, the new world. This is the new world.
T-shirts at Celsius.
Yeah, unbank yourself. How about go something else yourself? Actually,
on a centralized broker.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, number of differences. A bank, especially, when you're signing up for a bank, you have deposit insurance, you have, their terms of service. Perhaps make it more clear, just what exactly you are doing and what they have access to. So, that really is kind of where it comes down to. The judge didn't say that Celsius owns these assets just because it's an Earn product and you're turning it over. Like, he pointed very specifically to the contract between customers and the company. And, Celsius customers and creditors did object to this, before the ruling and arguments saying that, either Celsius breached its fiduciary duty or that, perhaps the terms of service were not as clear as they could have been. But at the end of the day, the judge said, he understood these arguments and he acknowledged the severity of what he was ruling on, but the terms of service themselves is what swung it for him, because Celsius, when you signed up, you had to agree to those terms, and that's where they landed.
Right. I also just want to clarify that Alex Mashinsky is the former CEO of Celsius. He stepped down from his position back in September. Nevertheless, Nick, just wondering about what this means for customers in terms of their pecking order and likelihood of reclaiming any of their assets from Celsius.
Yeah, so I guess there's two things to note here. The first is that, if you are a Celsius Earn customer, you are another creditor now. You already were, but what you're going to get back is going to come down to what Celsius has when they finally get around to dispersing assets to creditors. The pecking order, I don't know for sure if we have a clear one yet. There was a deadline earlier this week for creditors to file claims and provide proofs of claims, but there's also a motion to extend this. Hearing will be held on that motion next week on January 10th. So we might get a better sense of when exactly the deadlines are for customers to file claims, as well as for government entities to file claims. The other thing that I think has gone a little under the radar is in the same ruling, the judge said that Celsius had presented a good business case, that's a quote as well, to sell, I think, about $18 million worth of stablecoins to fund administrative expenses. And this is another aspect that I imagine Celsius creditors are going to be interested in, because the 18 million could otherwise have perhaps gone to the bankruptcy estate and been additional assets that could have been dispersed. So, obviously it's a case that we're going to continue paying attention to, but it's there's a lot that's still going to happen and still going to have to happen before we get any kind of real clarity as to what people are getting back and when they're going to get back.